Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devon. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Stephen Stallings from the band Plot Points. Steve and I went to college together, but haven't really talked probably in like 15 years. So some of this conversation is catching up and remembering what Nashville is like when we both lived there. We talk about taking our now wives to shows we probably didn't think they would like, but bands that we really love, going to concerts by yourself, connecting daily with your wife, life in New York with a kid, taking your kid to baseball games, trying to store Christmas presents when your kids get older, realizing a scavenger hunt is fun for you but not for your kid, the years-long process of recording a new EP, all the ways he got busy and distracted from working on that new music, and the realities of making music when you work full-time and are a husband and a dad. Just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Stephen, has it been 15 years since I talked to you? What would you, maybe, if not longer?
Just right at like 15 years. Okay. Wait.
Might be a little longer.
It honestly might have been that recording session was the last time we like spent time together in any meeting place. We might have been at shows together and like not really realized it.
Yes.
But like, yeah, we had that session in the spring of 2010. And then there's a good chance that we were both at like 5 to 10 Diarrhea Planet shows after that at the same time.
It's probably, or like at I feel like Kinley Flynn and those guys would do house parties and we'd like end up at like a house. We either ended up at concerts together or at parties together, one of the two.
You know what? That might have been because Kinley lived in the house I lived in before I lived there. So he totally came to parties at my house.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Which I do miss that feel like if someone is like, oh, college was such a good days, I think the casualness of hangouts. Because like right now, if someone walked into my house, I'd be like, who the fuck, who are you? Like, what's going on?
I know.
But like for some reason, age like 23, 24, because like I lived in East Nashville for a while with like John Gottschalk, if you remember that guy. And like, you just walk over and be like, who's in my house today? I don't know. Hopefully it's a good vibe. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, man, I lived in this house off 12th South my last semester, and I was with Spencer Noe. You remember that guy?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a couple other like musician, recording engineer kind of guys, and their friends would just cycle in and out. I was like kind of the odd man out in the house, and you know they were great. It was a good vibe, but it would just be kind of random dudes. And then one day it was like somebody's birthday, so I tagged along to Pancake Pantry, and we were just like joking around about something, and then this guy Ben was like, it went from like kind of a hypothetical to like, oh yeah, like when I was on tour in Germany, and I was like, and it was Ben Rector, and he hadn't become what Ben Rector is now, but like it was 2011, like on the come up Ben Rector, and so now it's so funny to see him like soaring, and I'm like, that's that guy from like Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah. Classic old Nashville. I don't know what it's like
now. There's still some of that vibe, but by the time we left, it was not so much.
Yeah, we took a road trip down there last summer, and in the final hours of the trip, we were trying to do the like, all right, where should we go? What are our spots? Closed. Closed, everything, like 99% of everything we thought of. Even even down to the like, we don't want to really go to Cafe Coco, but like we went there at the end of our first date. It's gone. Yep. We went and saw Of Montreal at Cannery Ballroom, and then to Cafe Coco after on our first date. And both of those places gone.
Yeah. I think Mike Millet's the reason I discovered Of Montreal, and I think I've been obsessed ever since. And I think it was, seeing them at like Mercy Lounge as a freshman, and there's such like a immersive experience to see live that I remember being like 19 and being like, what am I watching? And this is fantastic. Here we go.
So this would probably have been like the next time they came through Nashville. I was like, it was kind of a Hail Mary to like when Maggie and I had just first barely met, and I was just like, I'm just gonna ask her out on a date, like whatever, who cares? And I took her to see Montreal because I was like, all right, if she can handle this, she can hang. Like she was a musical theater major, so I was like, I feel like this could be in a weird adjacent way, kind of like okay with her, and like if this doesn't weird her out, like she is probably pretty well rounded and flexible. Like so it was a litmus test, and she was like, that was awesome, but not cool. It wasn't the like, we're going to go have a in-depth discussion about the merits of, whatever. And so it was just like, yeah, this is cool. And it was a good, like, first gut check of like, could this relationship happen?
I made Heather go see Cursive with me at Mercy Lounge once. And so that was my litmus test of like, here's a real obscure band that I've been obsessed with and will continue to be obsessed with. And they're like aggressive, but beautiful at the same time. And so if you're cool with seeing this version of me, you must really like me. So, and she did, still does for some reason. So that's good.
You can be grateful every day. I am the same way. At one of the first like shows that I took Maggie to, she like didn't get the memo on like everyone wearing black and skinny jeans and like walking, but it was a Rock the Block, so it was like everyone was walking between exit in and the end.
Yeah.
And Diarrhea Planet was playing, and I was just like, you're good here, and I just like ran into the pit.
Okay, so I'm now at a point where like especially with kids, I am more than happy to go to shows by myself. Like tomorrow night, Jimmy Eat World is going to play Red Rock, so I'm going to go see Jimmy Eat World and like Sunny Day, Real Estate, and the Get Up Kids. And like my wife is like, or Heather's like, no part of her is like, do I get to go too? She's like, yeah, no. Have fun. You go do that stuff. I'll be here. Do you have that relationship with Maggie as well nowadays?
Oh, it's been a long time of that. Because I was working in music supervision and still like kind of work in that world. But for 12 years right out of college, I had the same advertising agency music supervisor job. And so I got into any and every show for free. So I would go to, especially like pre-dog and pre-kids, like I was going to every single show I felt like going to. And she would come for a while, and then I would be like, are you having fun? Like, you can't see anything because she's a foot shorter than me. And so I was just like, you really don't have to feel like you have to tag along to this. And so she stopped going to shows with me on a regular basis a while ago. But like, it's all like, I always try to, include her in the things that she would really enjoy. Like I've taken her to see Paramore a few times.
Oh, cool.
And those are the ones that stand out. I really honestly I can't remember what else we've seen together. But yeah, like my MO is just like show up right before the band I want to see. Stand along the back wall because I'll always be able to see.
Pretty much. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm 6'4", if you don't remember.
Yeah. And I'm 6'4" as well.
Yeah, and Heather is 5'1". I'll say 5'1".
Oh wow.
So like, yeah. So we do a lot of like Americana artists like Jason Isbell, Josh Ritter, Nickel Creek, all that. And they usually play like in churches and like places where you can sit down, and like it is just very convenient. Cause like, I don't want to be the guy who's like middle of the crowd and everything, blocking the view for 30 people behind you, but also I want my wife to be able to see. So it's
I think the only show in probably like 15 years that I've like really made a point to be like, I don't care if I block anyone's view was Manchester Orchestra doing the 10-year anniversary of Mean Everything to Nothing. I was like, I will inconvenience any stranger for a better view of this show.
Yeah. Yep. That's how I felt for, besides Cursive, the Get Up Kids are like I learned bar chords so I could play Get Up Kids songs, like that band. And when they did Something Right Home about 25th anniversary, I was just like, I'm standing where I'm standing. Yeah. And like, I'm going to try to not get in people's way or be somewhat cognizant of it. I remember I saw G-Love and the Special Sauce once because my buddy was opening for them. And there's like a group of women who are all like 5'2", and they like stood in front of me like, is this good? And I was like, I don't know how to dickishly say you didn't affect anything. Like,
I know.
Like, I don't. Like, no, we're fine. We're good. But also like, you changed nothing for me.
Yeah. You couldn't possibly inconvenience me in this way.
Not even slightly. What's like, okay, this is one of my favorite questions to ask. Like, Jason Isbell, Josh Ritter, Nickel Creek are definite, like, we get a babysitter every time, we figure it out, we pay the extra money for it. For you guys, what's like a band where if they're in town, you're like, this pay for the sitter, whatever the cost is, we're making sure to go see them?
It's Paramore for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. If Nickel Creek came back, that would be one. Like you see the mandolin hanging behind me.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
My dad stumbled upon Nickel Creek at a bluegrass festival in like 99 or 2000, like before the like official printing of the first album. Like we had we had like the early cover of the first album that I can't even like find an image of online.
Yep.
And so I go way back for Nickel Creek. We saw them here at the town hall with Prairie Home Companion, which was very, very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Pre-Garrison Keillor cancellation, Prairie Home Companion.
Yep.
But yeah, Paramore is definitely it for both of us. I can't honestly even think of what else we both have seen recently. I guess we probably would do it for a show, but do you know the band Boys Go to Jupiter?
No, I don't.
That's one that she kind of discovered on Spotify, and we were both like, ooh, a band we both like. And so we did get a sitter to go to their like album listening party, because I was kind of like courting them for a work thing, and
cool.
so I went to go kind of meet with them, and got some like cool husband points out of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think I've gotten to know some of the Jason Isbell guys, so they've gotten us free tickets to a couple of their shows out here. Never Red Rocks. Red Rocks is like, I never anticipate someone. I'm just like, nope. I'll pay for that ticket. That's good. But like Mission Ballroom's another venue out here where it seems like it's big enough where if someone can get you on the guest list, like, yeah, I got you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's really sweet. So I got us into Isbell like 2 years ago, or the band was nice enough to let me get a free ticket to Isbell like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I was like, it is nice. Cool. All right, now all the ticket money's going towards the babysitter. So that's cool. That's
like 3 times as much as you would have paid for tickets for a babysitter.
Pretty much. Yeah. That is the hardest. Like, I don't know how you guys are, but I feel like we are very focused on like trying to figure out how to connect daily, because I know if we wait for a date night or something like that to be like that, this is when we need to connect, the amount of pressure on that date night just ruins the entire thing. Kids will still interrupt you whenever you're trying to connect day-to-day life. But like if I wait until we get the every other month, date night, and that's whenever we talk about real stuff, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm just gonna sit there and be like, there's too much to talk about. I don't know what to do. Like I'm frozen. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, it gets so loaded when you try to wait for the perfect time. I'm not going to say we're. I'm going to say I'm not good enough about like thinking about that. Like, what's a way to do this in a micro sense so that the macro level doesn't become so pressurized. Yeah. We have some great like coffee shops within walking distance, and so especially now that the weather, we had such a brutal winter that
you guys did.
I'm still trying to get into the thought process of like, oh, we can leave the home and go do things. It's the hardest I've ever had to work to like remember that I can go outside recently. And so we try to occasionally like go to the little coffee shop down the street and just like sit there with Maggie's planner, because she refuses to use a digital calendar, which is just
I know that world. Yep.
It's it causes some funny not misunderstandings, but just lack of knowledge of events for both of us sometimes. And so we'll go kind of do the catch up and talk about like more so than just like the what are you doing today, like where is this leading, what do you want to be working towards kind of things. Yeah
I feel like Heather still does the physical planner, but then will also put it in her actual calendar. But like the actual process of like writing it down works for her. And like, I am now very pro. It's funny how much more organized being married makes you. Because dude, 20-year-old me, I just showed up. Like I was like, I'll get there whenever I get there. Like I'm pretty sure this is happening today. And now it's like, I got 3 kids, man. I can't wing it. There's no winging it ever again.
Yeah. Did you guys get married like pretty fast?
No, we did.
You've been
Heather
together a
did.
long time, right?
Yeah, we started dating in 2008, and then she graduated in 2009. I graduated in May of 2010, and then she did grad school for 2 years. So we actually got married in 2013. So we dated for like 5 years. That's what it is. So
Cool.
yeah, which by Nashville standards or by Belmont standards, yeah, we were an old couple.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. Because it's so funny. It felt like not a crazy timeline at the time, but we started dating in early 2010, got engaged a year and a half later, and got married a year after that. Yeah. So it's like in retrospect, it's like shell shock just to like think about the pace of things. But at the time, it was like, oh yeah, we're taking our time. We didn't get engaged during school. Like we waited till the end of summer after we graduated. That seems very reasonable. I remember being in school and being like, this is crazy. People are getting engaged. And then like 3 months later.
Well, it's I mean, going to a small Christian college and being in the South, like, yeah, I mean, it is like all this, there are a lot of the stereotypes of like, you're going to college not for a degree, but to find a spouse. Like, I know, we both know people who were like, I want to be a pastor and I'm looking for my pastor wife. And you're just like, okay, that's an interesting dynamic. You're already saying, okay, cool. I won't talk to you about power dynamics and God at all. So that's fine. We'll just, I don't know how to be your friend and we'll see how this goes.
Right. Yeah. You know, it was so not on my like to-do list. And it just, it just happened like that. And it's funny in retrospect, but as I'm sure and it's the only way to really make it work. You just change over time and allow the other person's space to change and change together and make it work.
Yep. We had our first kid so we had kids when we were 28, 30, and 33, I think. And like having our first kid at 28 for our friend group, like most of our friends' kids were already like 7 or 8. And we were like, we're not like late bloomers. We just weren't right. And like 28 isn't that young, like old.
Yeah, we had our kid at 28. And when we went to our hospital visit at New York Pres on 168th Street in Manhattan, we felt like teen parents. Like everyone else there was like late 30s to 40. It was literally all these people in their late 30s, at least, us, and then a literal teen mom. Like we felt closer to the teen mom than the majority of people in that group. And like we were pretty much the first people in our friend group to have, we made friends with people with kids, and we had we had work friends with kids, but like in our actual like social circle, we were like the first by years.
Yeah, which also like is like the trend for bigger cities and everything. So I mean, like it makes sense, but also like it's still confusing because I remember like being like, because whenever you have a kid, no matter how old you are, it's such like a life-changing event, identity-changing event that like I'm not like, oh, I should have done this earlier. I'm just like, we got pregnant at all? Like we have a healthy kid like that. That's freaking insane and awesome. So it's real fun.
Yeah.
Where do you guys live? Do you live in Manhattan or you're like Brooklyn? Where are you in New York?
We used to live in Upper Manhattan. Now we are in Riverdale in the Bronx. Okay. Actually, Spuyten Duyvil. If anyone knows anything about the Bronx, it's one of those things. Like I'm from the suburbs of Houston, and if I say I'm from Houston, and someone goes like, "Oh, I'm from Houston," I go, "I'm not from Houston." Where it's like microcosms, and it's easier to just be like, "I live in the Bronx," like I live in Riverdale. But then it's like if someone grew up in Northern Riverdale, I'm like, I don't live up there. Like that's where Carly Simon grew up. That's where like JFK lived. I'm like, even though I'm like 5 minutes south of there, it's a distinct difference. So Spuyten Duyvil is the area of the Northwest Bronx we live in, and it's amazing. Yeah, like the majority of kids go to the public school that's like a 10-minute walk away. There's a bunch of families in our building. There's not only families in our building that like have kids around our kids' age, but there's also like people who have kids my age who still live and raise their kids in this building. So it's it's really obvious like the longevity of of this building that we live in, and I never want to move again because moving is the most miserable thing you can do.
Yep.
And you did it more recently than I did, and longer than I did. We had moved to Connecticut mid-COVID, and so we were near my wife's family for a little bit, and then we kind of hit. Oh no, I know exactly what the moment was. It was the first snow. And I had to shovel snow for the first time in my life. And I was like, we're going back. Because Maggie had been ready to go back for a while. And I was like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I think we probably belong in the city, but like, it's like kind of too close to call so far. And then the first time I had to shovel snow in any like real sense, I was like, I want to live in a building with a staff. And I don't care how much I pay for that staff to shovel the snow.
Yeah.
I hated it so much.
Best kept secret of Colorado is that since we're so close to the sun, it just melts. Like, so like literally like it snowed on like May 6th, it snowed like 7 inches. It was gone by the next day.
That's
like, so like we live in a neighborhood with a lot of like older people. And like, so sometimes I'm like, it'll be snowing in the morning. Like I need to make sure I go out there and shovel it. And then by like 3 p.m. it's gone. So I'm like, but I grew up in Indiana, man. So I'm familiar with like you shovel a lot, you get out there and then like you just watch it slowly melt for the next 3 months. And it's like, this is not charming. This is not fun. This isn't cute.
We had between 2 snowstorms, I think we had probably like 6 weeks of it this summer or this winter. And it was so brutal. And we have a car in the city now because we got a car when we went to Connecticut. We didn't have a car before. So like, COVID hit when my son was 2. And so 2.5. Those half years are important.
They matter. They do.
And so we got a car when we were in Connecticut. And so when we came back to the city, it was like, okay, well, we have to have a place where you can functionally have a car. Because in our old neighborhood in Washington Heights, the street parking is just like a parking lot. No one actively uses their car unless like kind of on the weekends or on holidays. And so there's like street cleaning twice a week and everyone just goes and double parks on the other side of the street for an hour and a half and sits in their car and then moves back after the truck goes by. So you can't have like an office job because someone has to be available to come sit in the car for an hour and a half twice a week.
Yeah, of course.
And so we knew that like we can't live in a neighborhood where we have to deal with that. And we had some friends who had moved to Riverdale and had kind of gotten the lay of the land before us. And so we live on a really great block where like above us there are a bunch of apartment buildings, and then everything south of us for a good long stretch is single family homes. And so the population density is not your typical like New York neighborhood where not only are there fewer people living in these houses, but they have driveways. And so you get like just great, super available street parking. Our window has only been busted twice within the span of a month. We just learned where not to park.
That's fair.
we learned the strategy. It's like we could pay $200 a month or whatever it is for like the lot at our building, or we could take the risk and maybe every so often it actually is covered by our deductible. So
so you're fine. You're good.
We have like a $0 deductible on glass, so it's really just inconvenience.
Oh, nice.
And especially when it happened twice a month, it was the shame of showing up to the same body shop and being like,
guys,
I'm sorry. I'm back.
Sorry. You're like, I don't even have anything in this car. I don't know what they're trying to steal.
True.
Like, do they want a car seat? I don't know. Like,
the first one happened like 4 days before Christmas.
Are you serious? That sucks.
Yeah. And we did have some stuff in the car.
That sucks.
we had been using it for storage. But luckily it wasn't like anyone's Christmas presents.
Yeah. Where do you hide your Christmas presents? Because like if you're in like an apartment, how do you keep the reality of Santa alive?
Well, Santa's done.
Okay.
My son's 8.5 now. So by like 7, he was starting to come around. He's a very detail oriented, like I call him production minded. Like when he watches a movie, he wants to immediately watch the behind the scenes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like he was born for the DVD era. He really missed out.
Yeah.
But you know, we try to find what we can on YouTube and watch the process of any of this stuff. Like he loves that kind of stuff. And so he was thinking about the logistics of Santa really early on. And so we kept up the charade for as long as we could and like answered questions with questions. And you're like, he brings you presents, doesn't he? And that worked for a while. And then eventually we were just like, okay, like stop asking. Yeah. Okay. You figured it out. But even after that, it became more of a like hide the presents thing because I didn't want him to be like, my presents are all here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
I have a horribly messy office. And so I have this corner that's always just kind of a pile of stuff. And so I just made like a section of the pile and put another pile on top of it, and he didn't find anything. He also didn't like actively look. So that'll be the problem is when he's actively looking. Yeah. We have a storage space downstairs that's like pretty packed, but we could fit some things in it. And then my wife has a storage unit at the U-Haul down the road where like we could really bring in the big guns and take it to like a different property. If we really need to hide stuff.
The reality of the coordination on Christmas Eve of like, okay, so when do we like, okay, so which present is at which space? Like where is, because we have like a laundry room and it has like shelves under it or like cabinets. So like, that's where I put everything. It's because the kids don't go, the kids have no purpose in the laundry room. So that's where I put, but like, I couldn't imagine the amount of mishaps of like, okay, so is the car that we bought him, is it at the U-Haul? Is it in my office or is it here? Like, where is it? And you're just both like, I don't know. And you're like, when are you going to have time to do it or am I going to have time to do it? And you're like, I don't know. And you're like, damn it.
Man, his big Christmas gift this year was a PS5. And I had that whole box just like in the corner with a bag over it. And he was none the wiser. And this was like, it wasn't just like the thing he wanted for Christmas. It's the thing that had completely like commanded his life and his entire brain power for months.
Yeah.
And it was just sitting there in the corner, like since Thanksgiving.
That's amazing. I feel like my parents were always just like, hey, if we see you open up the gift and it looks like you're not surprised or like you look like you already saw it, we'll just return the gift. So that's how they stopped us from like looking through their closet, looking through their bedroom. And they're like, if it seems obvious that you've already seen this before and we didn't think you had any idea you were going to get this present, we're going to return it. So don't go snooping. Don't go looking. And I'm like, that's valid. That's fair.
Yeah,
that pissed me off too. I get that.
Yeah. I would try to like peel off the where like a gift wrap was folded. I tried to kind of like for stuff under the tree. I was really flying too close to the sun.
Yeah. I remember once they got like whenever we were all older, they like got an extra car for us or something like that. They like found a used car and I like shook the box and it sounded like car keys. Like, oh, you guys, did you get us a car? And my mom was like, nope. I'm like, did you? I'd be so pissed though. I'd be so pissed. Yeah. Like now on the other side of that, if my kid guessed on the first like shake of a box exactly the big surprise I'd gotten them, I'd be like, God, just no. This is going to be a surprise. You and your siblings fight over who gets to drive the car all the time. We got you another one. God,
dude, I had a gift giving mishap for my son's birthday last year. This is indicative of kind of how last year went for us. His Christmas present, like I said, was a PS5. His birthday present a few months before was a Nintendo Switch 2. It's one of those things that I call the only child tax, where sometimes you just got to go for the big gifts for your only child who like really needs entertainment. Anyway, he was really excited about it. And I like took a page from my dad's book when I was a kid and like did a scavenger hunt for it and was like, look in this part of the apartment, look in this place. And there were like 4 or 5 clues. And each time it wasn't at the next location, he got more anxious more worried that it wasn't there. So by the time he found it, he was a wreck.
I would have not predicted that.
He was like, I clearly didn't either.
No.
He was a mess. And he was like, I thought it wasn't going to be there. And I was like, okay, I should have, knowing what I know now, I should have said, it's here. You have to go on a scavenger.
Oh my gosh.
For it.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, because it's like, to me, it's implied. Yeah, if I gave you like a scavenger hunt or something like that,
Right.
There's a treasure at the end of the map. But like, if I think it's really hard to remember that, like, whenever you do new things for your kids, they've never done it before. So like, they don't have your cultural frame of references that you do.
Yeah.
So like, you're there being like, oh, it's a scavenger hunt. You find out at the end, and there's like, I don't know what any of this means.
I know.
And then by explaining it, you feel like you ruin it. So you don't want to explain it.
Right.
But like, as I'm giving you a bunch of riddles. What's a riddle? Ah, shit. I try to trick you to find something I want you to find. Well, that doesn't sound nice. No, it's fun and playful. Yeah, I just don't want to straight up hand you a switch. So how do I do this?
I want you to work for it just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just
a little. Oh, was Maggie in the corners being like, Stephen, what do you do? Like, what?
By the time it got bad, I think she was like, moved along. Like, if there's another step, skip it.
I also love the thought of like trying to be elaborate and fun for your kid and it ruining the moment the entire time.
Dude.
Because like you're trying to keep whimsy alive. Like that's what like as I get older, I'll be like 40 next year and everything. I'm like, how do I keep whimsy and like playfulness alive? It's by doing ridiculous things like this.
Right.
But like, yeah, to your 7 or 8 year old, they don't know what that means. And you're like, oh, great.
Yeah. I mean, that applies to like so many things. We had Thursday and Friday off of school last week, and there was a Yankees day game on Thursday, and we're a quick like commuter rail trip from Yankee Stadium, and so we went to the game. And he doesn't play baseball; he doesn't know the rules of baseball.
Yeah,
but he was asking me to like explain it to him as it went. We had the binoculars, like they were like my granddad's binoculars. They've been in my family forever. Like I was watching minor league games through those binoculars as a kid. And so I was trying to explain the game to him and everything. And then I got up to go get food. And when I came back, he had like fully unlocked from the game. Like he was not paying attention. He was not asking about the rules. He just wanted to go home. And it was not that it's whimsy, but it's the same idea of like, dude, it's a Thursday during the school year and you are at Yankee Stadium and you're complaining about the ice cream I just got you because it's too much ice cream and it's dripping. And like the reality of it is that he doesn't have any appreciation for baseball, and that's fine. But I grew up without a major league team in New Orleans, and then we eventually moved to Houston, and we like I had family in Houston, so I was always like cool with the Astros. But like I grew up going to minor league baseball, and like the Cubs came and played at the Superdome one time, and it was like the event of the year, and so like, to have been taken to any major league game on a Thursday as an 8-year-old, I would have been over the moon. Yeah. But he has this down the street. And honestly, like Yankee Stadium kind of sucks.
I've never been to Yankee Stadium.
It's not Yankee. It's like Yankee Stadium Part 2 because they tore the original down, and like instead of making a good, interesting stadium, they made just kind of this like fax copy of Yankee Stadium, from what I understand. I never went to the original. Okay. Everyone who has been to the original is like, I don't really know what they were thinking with this new one, because it's just I describe it as utilitarian. It's like it is a ballpark. There is food there.
We have accomplished the ballpark.
No. Yes. Like, is there a Shake Shack like there is at Citi Field? No. Like you can get soft serve, you can get a hot dog and whatever, and like the food's good, but it's just like, like I love Camden Yards in Baltimore, where it's like I can get like hand cut kettle chips with lump crab and Old Bay on top, and it's like, I'm in Baltimore, baby. You go to New York and I'm like, or you go to the Yankee Stadium, you're like, the Yankees are playing. Like that's about it. And so I'm trying to not tell him that. I'm like, it's Major League Baseball. And he's like, sorry, whatever.
Well, also, like, to me, like, the Yankees are, like, them or the Knicks are, like, the team of Manhattan. So, like, to me, I'm like, oh, that should be, like, a world-class stadium. It should be a world-class experience. And, like, I mean, Rockies games, like, the Rockies are awful, but, like, they're fun.
because like, yeah, they've got like ridiculous hot dogs. It's a really cool park. They've got a playground. Like they know that like the product on the field is just okay.
Right.
So what's your experience then? Like you can bring in food if you want. Like they've made it like really accessible to go to a game. So like if it's better to go to a Rockies game than a Yankees game, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I know. I actually saw an article about this recently that like almost all ballparks allow outside food, and it's become like a tradition of baseball. And I do love that. We like brought sandwiches the other day because I'm not paying like, $10 for hot dogs for everybody, because why? But we are, speaking of whimsy, we are trying to redeem the baseball experience. We're taking him to a minor league game in Coney Island on the last day of school, where the Cyclones play, and it's like typical perfect minor league baseball where there's like entertainment between every inning. You're sitting there like watching roller coasters in the distance, you're right on the beach. Like it's so great. And I hope that's going to show him that like baseball isn't just utilitarian like existence.
Right? Well, we try like, it's really interesting to do that stuff because like I didn't grow up caring about sports. I started caring about them once I got into college because there's like more connection to Indiana and everything.
Yeah.
So now like I try to get my kids to like go to sports stuff, but I always do with the expectation of like they're going to be bored out of their mind within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like just try to keep like I try to never go to a game with my kids that I want to watch the game because I'm like, well, I'm just going to be pissed. I'm going to be mad the entire time. They're going to be children and I'm going to be mad at them. So like just I always say this, but I think it's really funny how much of parenting has been like, if I do this, will I just be angry in the corner the entire time? Yeah. You either change your expectations or you don't go do that thing, man. Like, which one are you going to do? And like, yeah, sports is a great example of that. Like, if we go to Rockies game, by the fourth inning, every kid is like, I'm done. I'm like, cool, we'll head out. That's fine.
We left the Yankees game in the fourth inning.
Yeah.
Spot on. The fourth inning is where it happens.
Well, I mean, they've been sitting still. They've been paying attention. You've already probably, like first inning, I'm like, no treat. We're not getting ice cream. We're not doing that yet. Then by like the third inning, I'm like, all right, cool. We'll get the ice cream and everything. Then by like the fourth or fifth, they're like, so why are we still here? And you're just like, yeah, I don't know. That's
because sometime in the next hour and a half to 2 hours, one really cool thing could happen.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, that's baseball, baby.
That's baseball. Yep. And I love soccer. I'm a big soccer person. So like, going to like a soccer game is like, you might watch a 0-0 game and it's the most exciting 90 minutes you've ever watched in your life. Unless you're 7. Yeah. Then it's torture.
Yeah. I'm curious how the World Cup is going to go now that he's like old enough to pay attention and has some like, he doesn't know that much about soccer, but like his friends do. And so he's like, Dad, who's Messi? And I'm like, soccer player. I don't know. Like, very good soccer player.
One of the good ones.
Yeah. He's like, one of the names I've heard as someone who watches the World Cup, and that's it.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm regretting not like exposing him to more basketball because I'm realizing that that's the sport that's best for kids because someone's constantly scoring.
Yeah, that's true.
But it sucks here because, to your point, like the Knicks are the basketball team, the Rangers are the hockey team, and they play in like America's arena, and so tickets are disgustingly expensive. It's crazy.
We went and saw Colbert for one of his final shows, like in April or so, and I remember I think it was whenever the Knicks were playing the Hawks. And I remember being like, we're staying like in Broadway, like you're like, basically like most toward Times Square area.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, like, let's say I'm not going to buy a ticket to go watch their games against the Hawks, but how much is that? And I think like the third tier was like $500 starting. And I was like, oh,
it's gross.
That's a lot. And then I looked up tickets to like the Nuggets games out here and it was like $150. And I was like, okay, population density, a lot less, very different.
Yeah.
Very different, but oh my God.
Yeah, it's completely insane. I assume it's just they make enough off of tourists who will pay whatever it costs.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
So. How do you feel? How do you feel about Mom Donnie issuing the order that kids can stay up late to watch the Knicks? Did you agree with that decision? How do you feel about that?
My child ain't finding out about that. And whoever tells him is on the shit list.
That's valid.
He heard me. He was getting ready for bed, and he heard me say to my wife, like, "I'd like to watch the Knicks game tonight for game 1." He was like, "I want to watch the Knicks." I was like, "You're going to bed." And that was before I even really realized how long a basketball game is, because I don't watch a lot of basketball. It feels short, and it lasts like 3 hours. And so I am glad, because he doesn't do well with staying up late.
No.
And so I especially like we've done a good job of like not telling him what's happening. But sometimes he'll hear. So we're actually keeping him up late tomorrow night because the New York Philharmonic is doing their concerts in the park this week.
Oh,
And
that's
so
cool.
they're playing in Van Cortlandt Park right up here in the Bronx tomorrow night. And I'm like, that's something you can stay up for. Like an orchestra concert and fireworks and like running around in the park with your friends.
That's
like,
cool.
That's worth it. Like we'll take him out to trivia with our friends every once in a while, but like he doesn't actually care enough about anything on TV for us to like warrant letting him stay up just to like watch the Super Bowl or like a basketball game. It's like there's a chance that if it comes to game 4, like I don't know. I don't think he cares enough.
Like, no. We ended up getting tickets to there's a World Cup game in Kansas City on like July 3rd that like one of my buddies got like face value tickets for. And so like my youngest is Josh. He's about to be 5. So I was like, hey, buy Josh and me a ticket. Like that'd be awesome. It'd be sweet to take my son to a World Cup game. Like that'll be amazing. And then like a month ago, they released the time of it and it's at 8:30 p.m. And I was like, God, it'll be 7:30 to his body. It'll be 7:30 to his body because they're in Central Ward Mountain. But I'm just like, oh, God damn. Oh.
Yeah. We try to hit bedtime between like 7:30 and 8. So I'm like, 8:30
exactly.
start time? No, not happening.
Nope. And it's just like, all right. But like already going into this, I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Whenever he wants ice cream, buy him the ice cream. Whenever he wants this, get him. Like just already building in an extra $70 I'm going to spend at the game just to keep him focused and not having a tantrum because he's tired and exhausted and I'm the problem here.
Right. Yep. We did a Mets game around that age and he just spent the entire game mad that he couldn't see Mr. Met. He had the binoculars just looking for Mr. Met the entire time. And he'd be happy when he could see Mr. Met, and then he would go away like, where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
We had a sketchbook because we don't go anywhere without a sketchbook for him. And so he was just sitting there drawing Mr. Met. He had never seen Mr. Met until we pulled into the parking lot.
Yep. My wife's family's all from like the Philly area. And I feel like if any of them ever find out who the Philly fanatic is, they'd have the same obsession. Just like, what is this creature?
They got
what is
too.
This? Oh, yes. I mean, listen,
Philly
does it right with mascots.
Yeah,
they do.
For sure.
That's cool. Do you guys, trying to entertain kids whenever you have downtime is like parenting 101, I feel like. And like, we try not to do screens. We also do a lot of drawing. So if it's like, hey, we're going to travel, something like that, let's bring something you can doodle on or something. That way you can still like be entertained or not be like frustrated. We can't do what we came here to do, but not also just put a phone or a screen in your face.
Yeah. We, I commend you for limiting screen time because we're not.
It's hard. It's really hard.
We've lost that battle, honestly. But we try to impose limits. The weekends are where it gets real dicey.
Yeah.
But especially on the weekdays, we have fairly reasonable limits, but we also are like the line gets drawn at the phone. I'm not handing you my phone.
Yes,
there have been times like I play in the orchestra at the college nearby, and and there have been times where like for a concert where like she doesn't want to bring in his iPad, she'll just be like, okay, be on my phone during the concert. If you don't want to draw, like you just gotta stay quiet and still. And that's like an emergency situation.
Yep.
And I'm also like, you don't have to come. You don't have to bring him. She's like, no, I want to be there. I want him to be there. I'm like, okay, so that's your choice. Like you can manage that however you'd like. I'm happy.
Just know I cannot help you at all. Right. I'm on stage playing.
I'm a long way away. Yeah. But yeah,
no help.
And that's worked out perfectly fine. But like, that's where I draw the line is like, I'm absolutely not handing you my phone. It's just not happening. But yeah, he's great with art. He loves to draw. And so that's like the number one, like it has to be in the tote bag to leave the house is a sketchbook and like 3 pencils freshly sharpened. The sharpener is by the door. That's like how much we have to have sharp pencils to get out the door.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. That's really cool. I haven't asked you about your new, before we wrap up and everything, I haven't asked you about new music and everything and all that. And I feel like your experience of trying to make new music is very dad-like, because didn't it take you like 2 years to record like 6 songs? Is that what you told me?
Oh boy, it's 4 songs in 7 years.
And your son is how old? Can you remind me?
8.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that tracks, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, the songs had been kicking around for a long time. And so for the longest time, it was like, my project is like writing and demoing, and I don't really care what happens from that. And then eventually when like, I had a lot of time to myself because Maggie was working in theater. She was working out of town a ton for like all of 2015. She was on tour with Kinky Boots all around the country.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
and so like even before the tour, she was doing out of town contracts a lot. And so like I had a ton of time, no kid, no pet, like no one needing me, no one occupying my time. And so I had a lot of time to just like write and whatever. And so by the time like it gets a few years later and we have a kid and like there's a lot less time to just like freewheelingly think and come up with ideas. It was like, okay, so I have like kind of a little stable of songs. Maybe I should actually do something with them. And so I sat down with this guy, Francis Garcia, who is, he is in my like work circles, and he is like a super legit, like old school 90s Austin pop punk guy. And they're
cool.
actually, so his band had 2 songs in Biodome, I think. And
Sure.
I know it's Biodome. I think it's 2 songs. And then they were like about to be the band in the prom scene in Clueless before it was Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, he's super cool. And like there's surprisingly not a lot of people in the like music supervision industry that came from like DIY and like local shows. And so I have really found my people that I've like glommed onto to be like, we share a similar background and aesthetic or ethic, whatever. And ethos, bam.
Yeah.
And so I just like asked Francis if I could come by his studio one day and just like played demos for him. And he was like, I really like this. Like, if you want to like come record, like this is my studio. Like it's not a for hire studio. And like, so my friends can just use it whenever. And I was like, that's amazing. That's not cool. Why I was here, but like, let's do it. And so I actually, this was 2019. I got my boss at the time, was like a drummer. And have you ever heard of Chris Whitley? He's a 90s.
No, I haven't.
He was in my understanding, I might be butchering this, but in my understanding, he was kind of a contemporary of like Jeff Buckley, Chris Isaac, but more bluesy. And so he my old boss Jerry was the drummer for Chris Whitley, and so we had just been talking about like doing something together for but it's work, so it's like maybe at some point, and we're busy all the time. And so I asked him to play drums on it. I had a great buddy, this guy, Rob Sanchez, who's back in Austin now. And we went into the studio and just banged out bass and drums for the 4 songs. And then I took some time, did all the guitars at home, like in the box, in like Native Instruments guitar rig, and Say Anything style. And then we were able to record vocals at the studio formerly known as Sorcerer Sound, which like way back was like Bob Dylan's studio, and more recently was owned by Mark Ronson. They recorded like parts of Tribe Called Quest albums there. They recorded like some Norah Jones stuff there, Amy Winehouse because of Ronson. And so like legendary studio. And my buddy, so you sharing a similar upbringing, I think you probably know who Five Iron Frenzy is.
Of course, yeah. Well, how could you not? Yeah.
So Five Iron's trombone player Dennis Culp is a work friend of mine, and
that's
so
cool.
His company was running the studio, and so he also very graciously offered up for me and Maggie to come in and record vocals, and
that's really cool.
So we were able to record vocals there and not just be like, well, I have an SM 57 at home. There actually is a 57 vocal demo of Maggie's where I had to go relieve the babysitter from her vocal session, and I didn't like what they did, and so I used the demo vocal, and it sounds fantastic. I love the way it sounds. It's not that it's like better, but it's just like it was exactly down the line of what I wanted. And so technically I'll take a 1/8 vocal production credit on that. But yeah, so like we had some really amazing opportunities to use some friends' studios. And so I got all that done end of 2019. Going into 2020, I was working to like a mix down of the drums, so I didn't have all the mics stemmed out and everything. And so I give all my stuff back to Francis, and he's going to mix it at his studio. And COVID happens, and his studio was in this arts warehouse in Red Hook that got like completely shut down, inaccessible. Like no one could even go in the building for months.
Seriously?
And so like everything was just on hold. And so I had all this like energy and momentum, and like I even had a show booked for like first or something. So we were like a couple months out from like having to put a live band together and all this stuff. And so I just started over from scratch with like new songs, did everything. Like I used Propellerhead's mobile app and like got all the drum sounds I liked for it, and exported them, loaded them up into Logic, made my own little like drum machine options. And made like a little DIY EP that came out back in 2021. And then like returned back to these being like, okay, now for the real thing. And it took from like probably we moved back here in 21, and I think started like putting a little bit more energy into it, and then we finally finished mixes at the end of like 2024, got it mastered in beginning of last year, and then I was like, all right, it's done. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks, like, oh, you have to have like album art, and you have to have some sort of mind around like how to put it out and like visuals, and it just went back burner for so long. And I kind of want to like stop using DistroKid, so it's like I want to find another distributor, and then it was like, I'm already paying DistroKid because I put the 40s stuff, my old band that you recorded in college, like I put that stuff up in 2020 because that had never been on streamers, and so it's like I'm already paying for that, so like I can switch.
Might as well.
It's like the roadblocks you give yourself when you're like, I have to really put thought and effort into something. So I'm going to tell myself that like this part of it is what's stopping me. And, and especially in the last year where it was like fully done and I could have put it out, I could have like slapped a single color cover on it and like called it a day. I started playing with Robert Gay, which I think I mentioned to you. I started playing bass for Robert. And then in talking about playing bass for Robert, I got a gig with some guys playing like soul jazz. Like they had this incredible like instrumental combo where I was like, did I tell you that I like barely play bass? They're like, yeah, just try it out. And so like, I got really fun gig, like really stretching my limits and like really working hard to like get up to snuff with these guys where I'm like the worst like player in the group by leaps and bounds. And so like joined that band that plays like not often. It's not a huge lift. It's like every few months. And then also last fall joined the orchestra at the college nearby. And it hit me that like it's like the old Twitter joke, the like men will literally blank 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 instead of going to therapy. And I was like, oh, I will literally join two bands in an orchestra to avoid putting my own music out.
Yep. And all you probably needed was literally an album art and like some plan of like whenever you put it out, they'd be like, here's what this album is. Like, it's not even like, it's almost like, I feel like with creative stuff, like the stuff that feels super simple, you make super complex. Like, what do you want the picture to be? And you're like, what's it say about that? I'm like, can I just put something that says I'm proud of myself for making this and releasing it? Can that be, that be the album art?
I know. And it's so tough because you fall into the trap of like, what being an artist is these days, which is
Very
such
much.
a visual medium and having to
Yep.
make content. And that's
Mhm.
really where it was like, what am I going to make content
Yeah.
about my music?
Yeah.
And another wrinkle that I know we kind of like connected over TikTok from my music account, but do you
Yeah.
know about my other TikTok activity?
No, I don't.
So
No.
circa like early 2022, when Wordle was blowing up, I started a Wordle account on TikTok just to be like, I don't know, I've heard you have to like niche down and only talk about one thing. And so I started this separate account to talk about Wordle, and it blew up immediately.
Are you serious?
Like as of like day one, I had 2,000 followers. And then
What?
by like 2 weeks in, I had 10,000 followers and was interviewed by the New Yorker. Like blew the F up. And so
ridiculous.
I was literally making daily content for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very formulaic. I was just on screen playing the game, and you know, it was that formula, and sticking to that formula is what made me stop like growing and made people stop caring. But the real fans stayed for me to get real weird with the formula. And it was like, that's what I was here to do in the first place, was to like be weird and funny. And like, I don't care that like Gen Z like wants me to like taste test sodas. Like, that's not what I'm doing.
No,
I'm playing
I'm not
Wordle.
here for that. Yeah.
And it's like, why are you playing Wordle and not like the new cool thing? It's like, because I called the account Wordle Tips. I'm here to do one thing and one thing only. And so like that was like really going through the ringer of seeing how social media works and how social changes, and all the while like knowing what I knew about my corner of social media, then watching like what artists were trying to do. It's like, I'm not doing that.
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Like I honestly like, I don't want it to sound like I would talk down to people who do that, because I honestly like admire people who can go on and be like, this is what I was thinking about when I wrote this song. I was like, I'm allergic to talking like that.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish I could just be like, here's what I wrote this song about. But like, that makes me feel naked.
Yeah. Also, like I feel like Matt Berenger from the National has said before, like, but if I say that, then that's what you guys think this song is about. And then like that kind of it taints the song. Like it then changes the song, because like I also get very legalistic about like listening to songs. I'm like, no, he wrote this about this, and it's like, well, yeah, now you're only listening through one lens, and you've completely shut off the million like multiverses that could exist in the song because you listened to one interview that said, here's what the song is about.
Right, and it also kind of keeps you from like rediscovering new meaning in your own music. Because that's a very real thing that happens over time. Is you go like, oh, that wasn't even about that at the time, and now it means a whole different thing to me if I'm not so attached to what it literally was at the time. Like we had a song on the last Plot Points EP called Sweat It Out that was like the one that I'm like really the proudest of. I had a friend record drums in his house, so it wasn't like the dinky drum machine thing that I was doing for the rest of it. And it's like epic. I had, do you ever know Ben Kaufman in Nashville?
Yeah.
So I had Ben do strings. I like arranged a string quartet, and Ben recorded the whole thing for me. And so that's the one that's like,
that's cool.
That's the like, oh yeah, he grew up listening to Death Cab and Arcade Fire kind of like long building thing that gets really epic. And that's like lyrically, that's a song that I knew at the time that it was about several different things, but it was interesting for like the couple people who paid close enough attention to be like, oh, is this about this? It's like, partly,
probably.
It's like, it's about having to wait for something. And, and there was a lot of that in 2020, 2021. So it was interesting to see people kind of discover that. And, I don't know. Anyway, so like just speaking of the content game, and so that was kind of keeping me from putting my energy into it. Yeah. And then the producer Francis that I mentioned earlier, I see him socially in like kind of work functions fairly often, and he kept on just being like, "You gotta just do it. Like, don't worry about it too hard. Like there's no perfect way. Just like figure out some album art and do it. And so I had finally come around to like, okay, I don't have to find the perfect album art. It doesn't actually, I had been kind of waiting on like, we should do a photo shoot and figure out something from that. And then I was like, it doesn't have to be a photo. Like we could do like a drawing. It could be this or this. And I had finally kind of had an idea that I liked. And we were on our road trip to Nashville that I mentioned earlier. And we literally on like day one of the trip had been like, oh, it would be so fun if Seiji Inouye like had like a session open and we could like do photos with him. But like we didn't really pack clothes with that in mind. Also, I'm really in my head about if I pronounce his last name right. So I
would destroy it. Also.
I don't think I've ever said it out loud. And so you know, we had literally said his name. Like that would be so cool because his photography is so amazing. And like his eye, it's just like, that's someone who you could just like trust their eye and just be like, take some cool photos of us. And so that night we're in our hotel in Virginia and I'm just scrolling and I see Seiji on his Instagram stories being like, does anyone want to do a shoot in the next 2 days?
What? Like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, that seems like fate. And so we got together with Seiji and just like in Germantown and we're just like, you know the spots, we don't know anything anymore. Just like tell us where to show up. We'll try to like dress cool and we'll just figure it out. And we got some amazing photos from him and that like finally kind of and it took another 9 months, but
of course,
it finally got the gears turning to be like, all right, what's this gonna look like? And once we picked a cover photo, it was like, okay, like so we can pull colors out of this, and those could be like colors. That's where I really start like getting the ball rolling. Is like if I have the framework to work within, then I can. And I actually just finished like lyric video for one of the songs that I'm really excited about. It's a song called Plans, and it's the one that I mentioned earlier that wait, did I mention it or did I think about mentioning it? Who knows? I wrote the lyrics to this song I wrote it as a 40s song because we were gonna keep on playing after Chase Meisenheimer left because he graduated. We were gonna have Casey Weisbuck from the original Diarrhea Planet lineup join on drums. We had him join for one show, but we never kept it going because we just all got busy. But I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start writing more songs. And I had written this song this summer between my junior and senior year where Maggie and I had just started dating. And we went from like, we're not defining this to like, okay, I think we're dating because we're going to be apart for 8 months. And after like barely being together at all. And so it was like, we have to jump into this. And I wrote these lyrics just to be like, I'm thinking of this as a long-term thing. And I'm including you in that. And, like seems kind of weird to do right now, but like, that's where I'm at. And so I've had those lyrics for 16 years. And then just in like kind of internal demos, just like turned it into a few different songs and finally landed on the one that we recorded. And so I was thinking about like, how can I like visualize this in a way that feels meaningful to the song? And I remembered that when she was on tour with Kinky Boots, she had a stop in Pittsburgh that I went out and visited her for. And in exploring Pittsburgh, they have the Andy Warhol Museum there. And in the section about his films, there's a camera setup where they call it a screen test, where you sit down in front of the camera and just sit there for like 5 minutes. And I don't know, it's like a low frame rate. It like looks very old and it's black and white and it's really cool. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I still have that downloaded somewhere. The link is active from 11 years ago. The link from the Warhol Museum is still active, and I downloaded it. And I was like, oh, I could like take clips from this. And then I was like, wait. And I just kind of like took from the back and from the front and just put it together top and bottom because everything's vertical now, which is so interesting. And so I just let the whole thing play because that's the Warhol film aesthetic, is just natural, no cuts. And so it's funny, speaking of like how songs might reveal themselves to you in time, it revealed to me kind of like the timeline and the phases of our life where
cool.
like that was such a culmination of the first phase of our life, was her like chasing the theater dream and getting this national tour and like working at the peak level. And then the year after that, opening a Broadway show for the first time. And like, that, and then it wasn't long after that we got pregnant, and she kept on pursuing theater for years after that. But it was like, it really hit critical mass before we moved into this next section of our lives. And in retrospect, what was that culmination now feels like preamble for the phase since, or phases since, really. And so it's wild to me. It doesn't mean the same thing to anyone else watching, but in like editing this, I'm like, this song about us like jumping in and committing really early on, being visualized by this like simultaneous peak and beginning all these years later. It's like everything kind of just collapsing in on itself. And that's cool. It's the kind of thing where like after spending so long being like, I can't make content, I'm like, I think I made some good content.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It is the most obnoxious part of being a creative type, though, is the whole, how do I train the algorithm to like me? How do I get all that stuff? Because like, it's like, here's so many videos you have to post a day. Here's so much you have to do this. And like, at the end of the day, I know, at least for like this podcast, I'm like, if anyone finds this, I'm happy. So like, but I'm also not here the same to be like, here's what I was thinking about behind the scenes whenever I was talking to Stephen on this episode. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, no one's going to care
it's
about that.
Creating
but
a
like,
body of work.
Yep, it is.
And like, honestly,
but I also have that insecurity in me.
Yeah, right. I'm not trying to go viral as a musician. Like, I don't want the viral audience's opinion about my music.
No, not at all. No.
That kind of accidentally happened because my wife posted this like reel where she just like did a trend. It was that Simple Plan, I'm Just a Kid trend from years ago, where it's like you recreate a picture from when you were younger. And we did that, like we were going out for our anniversary dinner, and it was like, oh wait, like before we leave, let's do this thing. And we shot this like 5-second video, and she spelled a word wrong in the caption on screen.
Oh God.
And so people started commenting, and then it snowballed from there, and it was like millions and millions and millions of views and thousands of comments, all ragging on me. Like for being a man with long hair first. And I mean, my hair is long now. My hair was like long. And so you had these weird, like, I'll call them international Catholics, where like English was clearly not their first language, and they had some really, really strict rules about how men should be. And so like I got that not only on just like myself and my appearance, but someone like went down in her feed and watched something where she had like posted a song from like the last Plot Points EP, and there was just this total stranger being like, this is absolute garbage music and you should be ashamed. And I'm like, well, I don't care about this person's opinion. But that's a good reminder that I really don't want that level of strangers' opinions about my music. But so I'm not trying to like go viral. I'm not trying to build a huge audience online. And so I don't have to have it all figured out in the right way. And you really can just put it out, because it's about having a body of work and about having it accessible to people. Because like I kind of get the reverse side of this. But the thing that makes me crazy is when I go to a band's Instagram and I can't listen to their music. Or see a live video. I take a live video easily when all I can do is click on flyers for a band that's like really a band and that's their full-time thing and they're making a go of it. I'm like, I should be able, I shouldn't have to click through to your link tree to go pull up my streaming service of choice to listen to your music. Cause like at a certain point, if you make it that hard for me, I'm not going to do it out of principle. And so I'm like, I want to have the music out there. I want it to be accessible in like a meaningful way, in an easy way, where it's like, I don't want to have like 1,000 clips of the same song where you can't tell what the song actually is, because that's what works. It's especially on TikTok more so than Instagram, where like your grid doesn't matter as much, and you just have to be constantly feeding stuff to the algorithm. It's like the thing that works is making 100 to 300 of the exact same video and just waiting for the algorithm to push it out to more people. And that's the last thing I'm going to do.
I think it feels like as if I'm in high school again. And I think I want to feel pretty to a bunch of people that don't even vaguely give a shit about me. Like walking up to the cool kid table, being like, do you like my outfit today? And it's like, they won't even remember your name, man. And even if they said yes, they don't mean it. So like I want people to be able to find the stuff I create, but also like, it's a stupid game. And, and I hate it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way where it's like, I want to have like integrity in the things that I do, but I'd also so much rather appeal to the weirdest people in the weirdest way than like get the approval of the table of cool kids. Like that's how I approached the Wordle content stuff, where I was like, I would so much rather alienate the wrong people than have the wrong people casually there. I started streaming Wordle games on TikTok because like for a while there, that was really where the growth was getting followers from live streams. For a long time I was just doing really normal live streams where I would like have the audience vote on like which word we should guess next, and that really gets people going because it gets engagement. The algorithm pushes it to more people. So what I learned was that if you play really bad, more people stop and watch. And so through a really weird chain of events, I starting every game on my streams with "Horse Sorry Mommy Daddy," which is just a horribly inefficient way to play Wordle.
It's awful.
And then so the game was, you start with "Horse Sorry Mommy Daddy." If you win, you go on to the next round, which is "Horse Horse Horse Horse." And then you have two chances to get it. And at any point, if you lose, you have to go back to the beginning. So it's horse, 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 sorry, 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 etc. And so people would stop in and be like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?"
Have you ever played this game before?
I called it the world's most unbeatable Wordle strategy. And so it even has like a slightly weird way of describing it. And like no one says most unbeatable. And so the right people really took to this. And that's where I'm like, those are my people. Those are the people I'm making stuff for. And it's a very small group of people. It does not reflect the like 113,000 followers that I have.
No.
It reflects like there's like 100 people in my Discord and maybe 20 of them are active. Those are the people.
Those are the ones,
That's the target.
That's why I feel like, because I'll post like guitar videos from time to time, especially like buying a new Orange amp and everything. And there's so many obscure songs to know how to play guitar that I'm like, oh, everyone is familiar with Into the Fold by Cursive. Everyone's familiar with track 9 on Happy Hollow, right? And it's like, Devon, you're going to have 3 people that know that this song even exists if you can even play it correctly. So I also have that very weird part of me that's just like, no. I'm going to play a Good Life song from an album from a band that no one knows exists besides like 20 people who lived in Omaha. And that's the target market I'm going for.
Yeah.
And then I talk myself out of it and I don't do it. But then some part of me is like, but what if you do it? And I'm like, no. That's not a part of my personality. I know if I want to feed every single day.
Yes. You're going to appreciate this. I'm trying to remember the name of the song so I don't get it wrong. I saw the Carousel tour, the like Laura Jane Grace, Tim Kasher. Anthony Green. Tim played I really love Mama I'm Swollen. Like
me too.
That album is just like it's so great. I believe the song was the title track that maybe it was What Have I Done? Whatever. He did it at the show and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be the only time I ever hear this song live." Like
on the vinyl, that page is written, the lyrics are written on a paper plate, front and back.
That's cool.
It is freaking awesome.
That's awesome. I think the only cursive vinyl I have, as if I could actually see it from here, is like the Art Is Hard, the Recluse picture single. Got that at Grimes back in like 2008.
I'm gonna say Sinner's Serenade. Once and Adapt might be the three other
That's
songs.
the one. I couldn't remember the
Yep.
name, but yes, Adapt.
Yeah.
That is the B-side banger from that one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Sinner Serenade. Oh, sorry. This is a phenomenal side tangent. Mike Mogus, the guy who produced that, had this really big thing with like Bright Eyes and Cursive where he did these really eerie piano parts, like in between songs, like in between Bowl of Oranges on I'm Wide Awake, on Lifter the Stores in the Ground and Don't Know When But Day Is Gonna Come. There's like this just eerie, creepy as fuck, like piano part that's like very dissonant and everything. They do that a lot on like in between Butcher, the song, and Gentleman Calder that kind of do this eerie piano part. And they also do that on Sinner Serenade. He had this like year or two of just being like, I'm going to make some really eerie piano tone.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill this in beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, so. I was never into Cursive, and for whatever reason, on the day of my high school graduation, I went to Borders and I bought the Ugly Organ and the first Rage Against the Machine album. I had nothing to be angsty about. I was finished with high school. I was going to like the number one choice of college, and I was just like, I'm going to get into Cursive and Rage.
Yeah. Like The Recluse was my go-to song to like test out a room. Because like the vocal blends in The Recluse, there's like the high whispery part, there's the very mid-rangey part, like in the second verse, you got Jenny Lewis singing on also. And like, I think my dream podcast would be, I listened to a lot of Vagrant albums. Vagrant was like Get Up Kids, Saves the Day, all like Lawrence, Kansas and like New Jersey for some reason. Matt Pryor, whenever Vagrant reached 25 years, did interviews with every single band. And was like, all right, I'm in the Get Up Kids. Let's talk about the Get Up Kids, how we got started. Let's talk to Save the Day. Let's talk to Bayside. Let's talk to the anniversary. Let's talk to all these bands. If I could somehow commission Saddle Creek to let me do that for them, that would be the most deep dive, me being excited about life every single day and then having a really big emotional drop off whenever I was done with it. Existence for me possible.
Okay, I have a question for you. I've been thinking about this a lot and have been meaning to like put it on Instagram, but it's just one of those like, God, this is such a dorky question. But do you have like an album where you don't like anything else from that band, but you love that album? Because you reminded me with Saves the Day. I love In Reverie. I don't like any other Saves the Day album.
Well, this in Reverie is not a Saves the Day album.
Exactly.
In Reverie,
that's why I like it.
I would say the first one that comes to mind, and I think it's because of how much I emotionally connected to the album, is Set Yourself on Fire by Stars.
Oh,
because that album, I was obsessed with that album. And their other albums are good. Like they aren't bad, but like that album is such like a time and place for me where like I am obsessed with every single song and every decision they make on that album. Besides that, like, did you ever listen to The Promise Ring?
I know who
okay, cool.
Yeah, I've never really listened.
Late 90s, early 2000s, emo indie rock bands, all like 2 or 3 of them reached this phase where like their 3rd or 4th album, they didn't do a pop punk album. And so everyone...
Woodwater? Is that the name of the album?
I love Woodwater. Woodwater is like my favorite album. It's perfect. It's great. Their other albums are great. They're fantastic. Yeah. But like Woodwater is like this emotional indie rock journey that I think is like beautiful and fantastic. And it's really big. Also, On a Wire by the Get Up Kids is my favorite album of theirs. In Reverie is a fantastic Saves the Day album, but it's not like, if you're listening to their entire discography, you're like, what is this album?
Right.
And it's like, well, they're getting in their like mid 20s and they're like, I want to challenge myself.
Right.
So I'm going to do something. And then like, I mean, Saves the Day after In Reverie did a 3 album arc of like self-hatred and like despising himself. Like it gets real dark. Get Up Kids did one other album, then broke up for like a decade. I think Promise Ring broke up and then did like, so like, there's this thing in like the early aughts where like all these indie, emo, whatever bands challenge themselves and their fans are like, hell no. And they're just like, well, we're not kids anymore.
Everyone has their Pinkerton.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. Everyone has their Pinkerton.
Yeah. Did you know Ashley Bird at Belmont?
No, I didn't. The name sounds familiar.
I was dating her roommate and Ashley had a copy of In Reverie around the apartment. And I was like, it would be funny to put this on. And then I like halfway through song 1, I was like, I really like this.
Yeah. The other day I thought about doing because like the Orange Amp has like phenomenal like distortion built into and everything, about doing Driving in the Dark as like a random obscure TikTok video where I'm like, I think about 5 people will recognize this guitar intro and I will be really happy playing it. And it's really simple and really fun. So now that just encourages me, if I have the energy in 2 hours from now to plug in an electric guitar and hope I'm not waking up the entire family to do that.
risky. I did the same thing a while back. I think I posted it on the Plot Points TikTok and definitely the Instagram, where I realized that you could sing the lyrics of the MXPX song that's not Chick Magnet, the biggest MXPX song.
Like punk rock show
rock
or
show.
like
Yeah, punk rock show.
Yeah.
I'm going through the lyrics. I'm like, it's in the first line. To the accompaniment of the Color Spider songs from whatever yellow spider, orange spider, whatever. And so it's like, we ain't got no place to go, so let's go to the punk rock show. And it was just like, I think in the caption I was like, if this registers for you, you're my people. Like, this is not for everyone, but it's for you.
That's it. That's awesome. I think what is that on Taylor Swift's new album? Honestly, Romantic is like the same chord progression as Where Is My Mind or Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus. And it's once you hear it once, you realize it's like the exact same. Yep. Yeah. And then you're just like, you hear it and you're like, can't unhear this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. No way.
Here we go.
No way.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up.
Yeah.
That way I can actually, so Heather isn't like, where are you? Okay. So how I end every episode is ask every guest a series of 5 questions. First question is, did you have any backup names for your kid? Like, do you have anything that you almost named him?
So we had our boy name locked from like when we first ever talked about having children, because our dad's first names are both Thomas. And so it was like, that's it. Like there's no way around that if it's a boy. We had talked about Lucy. My wife's mom's name was Lucinda. And so she went by Cindy. So it was like, it'd be fun to like do Lucinda, but then call her Lucy. And so that was kind of our closest thing. And then we found out we were having a boy and we were like, all right, it's locked in. No need
Thomas,
to deliberate.
cool.
Made it very easy.
That does. Next question. Who's your favorite TV or movie dad? Or like what comes to mind first? You can do that also if the word favorite trips you up a bit.
Okay, so I did my homework and I was familiar with this question. And I don't think I have like an answer that I love, but you know, no, let me rephrase that. Because you want to find like the perfect movie dad. But it's you know, it's the Imperfect Dads podcast after all. And it is Sandy Cohen from the OC. Because I'm like, that's a flawed man, but it's like, but that's my dad. Like that's my TV dad. He like when Maggie was watching that musical show, Zoe's Infinite Playlist.
Oh, Zoe's Infinite Playlist, yeah.
He was her dad on that show and he was dying. And I was like, respectfully, I can't be in the same room. I've already lost one father in my real life. I can't lose Sandy Cohen in a different TV show.
Have you tried therapy yet? Just as a suggestion.
Yes.
Good.
I'm actively in the process of getting back into it.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome. I don't think I've ever felt that deep of a connection to a TV character, but I could see that just being like, not today. Like, I can't, like, come on. Like, I'm still grieving the real dad. So let's not add something else to this list.
Yeah. For sure.
Next question. What's your replacement curse word? What do you say whenever, like, you need to curse, but you don't know but you don't want your son to repeat it later?
This is the one that I'm truly at a loss for, because I always kind of was good with saying like dang when I needed to. But I like it slips out if I'm like really upset. But yeah, I don't think my dad was like a doggone it guy.
Doggone it.
I had a lot of doggone it growing up. I don't think I have like a doggone it. But I'm usually pretty good about like a reasonable censor of like a dang or like you're ticking me off. You know, I might go there. I try to find a way around it because, you know, we're also so actively in that 3rd grade boy conversation of like, be more creative with your language. Like
Yeah,
he's
man.
really discovered curse. I was his age when South Park came out, and like
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't supposed to watch it, but I watched it,
Mhm.
and like
Yep.
it was in the water, and it was lazy, and it still is lazy, and I'm guilty of it all the time. But I try not to do it in front of him, so I can have some leg to stand on to be like, hey, don't talk like
That's
that.
true. That's true. Yeah, that's why you don't curse. It's not because you want to be a better person. It's like, no. Whenever he curses later, and he's like, but you say those words. And then I can be like hell I do. Damn it, I said
I know. And it's also like, I really want him to learn, like, to know your audience.
Yeah.
Because I want to be a safe enough space that like I'm not going to fly off the handle if he uses the language that he's been using. But like we'll go to visit my father-in-law, or like my mom will come to spend time with him, and we'll be like, hey, like cool it with the language, because like we're trying to teach you life skills. They get offended. Like that's honestly like for real offensive to them. We just like don't want you talking like that. For the older people in your life, that's like legitimately upsetting to them. So just like
it hurts them.
Watch yourself around them, because you just have to know who you're talking to. Like with your friends, like try to keep it clean, but like, you know, you're with your friends.
Yeah.
And it's so like I think knowing your audience is the lesson to teach.
Yep. And not overreacting, because it is really like, my parents didn't overreact that much, or like have big reactions, I mean. But like, I think we all know people whose parents were like, if you drop the F, but like I had friends' parents who were like, if you said the word sucks, they're like, well, I don't know if I want you around this house. And you're like, well, that sucks. And I go, okay, I'll see you.
I know.
So
yeah, you don't want to be the like the S word is stupid family.
Yes.
Like you don't want to overcorrect too much.
You don't. And it's teaching your kid like, all right, like my son, once again almost 5, said the F word the other day, and I was like, oh, do you know what that word is? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, that's actually the F word. So whenever you say that, like you'll get in trouble. If you say that at school, you'll especially get in trouble. And like there's no time in which you say that in which you won't get in trouble. And he's like, oh, okay. But like it wasn't like, where did you learn that? Who taught you? It's just like, oh, you said a word, and like now's the moment to teach you the power of this word.
Right.
Or the consequences of this word,
right?
So that you know what you're doing later. Because if I just scream at you, then you're just going to say it the second I leave the room.
Yeah.
And be like, this word has this much power? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it more now.
Yeah. I have a friend who I don't think I would do this myself, but I respect the reason that she does it. Like with her daughter in Brooklyn, she's like, I want my daughter to be like as foul-mouthed as she needs to be, because if she's at the playground and some creep comes up to her, I want her to be the first one to yell, "Get the fuck away from me!" And I'm like,
and you know what?
Having girls,
I pay attention. Yep. And you know what? If I saw a 6 or 7-year-old girl, actually any age girl, scream at a man, "Get the fuck away from me," I'd be like, oh, I need to get involved.
I know.
I need to help.
Yeah.
Like that kid is screaming. That kid is not just screaming, "Get away from me." They're screaming, "Someone help me," at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What's like favorite activity or toy to play with your son? Clearly not baseball games.
It is not baseball games. We watch a lot of movies. Where he's really into movies. I have friends, you know, even at like, you know, their kids being 8 years old are like, oh, you can't sit through a whole Harry Potter movie. I'm like, 2.5 hours? That's nothing.
Yeah.
And like he's been that since he locked in with movies. Like he has unlimited attention span.
That's cool.
We just went and saw Mandalorian and Grogu in the theater and just had a blast.
Yeah.
It was so much
That's
fun.
Cool.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, we I spend like a ton of time with him. So we do a lot. He's been actually getting into trying to like get better at basketball. So we've been going to the playground and playing some basketball, which has been really fun. And we go swimming a ton. We actually have a pool at our building. Which
cool.
is like part of why we moved to this building. And and so we swim a lot. I can't like keep up with the visual art stuff. So whenever he wants to draw, I'm like, you do that. I'm not going to draw because it's not, you're not going to be happy with my drawings.
No, you aren't. Yes. Yeah. That's how I am too.
So like my wife does the visual side of things with him. She's very talented in that department. But yeah, like we, you know, especially in the summer, we do a lot of swimming together. Lots of movies. That I guess that's probably the thing is like watching movies together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And then last question is, what's your least, since that actually ties with that a little bit, what's your least favorite kid show or movie? Like if your son wants to watch, is there anything where like, this is trash, this is garbage? You can do a song also if that helps out.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a specific song, but I did have to warn someone recently. Do you know the band Charlie Bliss?
No, I don't.
You should. They're the greatest.
Okay. Okay.
They're like one of the great, more recent New York indie rock bands.
Okay.
And so I got to know some of them through just like work stuff. And their drummer Sam we've done quite a bit of work together for like composition stuff when I was at my old agency job. All that to say, they did for their last album press cycle, they did like one of those Pitchfork under over things, and I think that was where Imagine Dragons came up, and they were all like dogging on Imagine Dragons, and I texted Sam and I was like, hey, here's the thing about Imagine Dragons. You will do everything you can to keep Imagine Dragons away from your children, and then once they're old enough, their school gym teacher will play every Imagine Dragons song for them, and you will have failed at your attempt to keep Imagine Dragons out of their life. And it's universal. I just found out that one of the songs that my son has been singing for years is an Imagine Dragons song that I didn't even know. Makes me crazy. Anyway, that's not my answer.
That's true.
Because my answer is The Descendants and Zombies and any of that like Disney Channel aesthetic stuff, because somewhere I guess the answer is High School Musical. Like High School Musical was like the fulcrum point for the Disney Channel, where like they went from making movies and shows to making Disney Channel movies and shows. Like, the look changed on a dime, and I can kind of like ironically watch High School Musical and be fine, but like Zombies and Descendants, where I'm like, if you really must watch this, I will leave the room.
Yeah,
it's an aesthetic thing. Like the performers are all great, whatever. But like any movie that looks like that, any show that looks like that, even like The Loud House, which is a Nickelodeon show, like the whole vibe is off. And I think he's kind of come around to what I'm saying about that, because he's like, well, why don't you like it? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just off.
Just wrong.
It makes me uncomfortable. And like my niece really loves Descendants and Zombies, so I try not to like dog on it in front of her, but I'll just kind of leave the room if she wants to put it on. I can't do it.
I have two daughters. I have a 10-year-old and 8-year-old daughter. So like, no, man, I've listened through Zombies 4, 3, and 2 today so far. Ooh. And the new Descendants movie comes out on July 17th. So no, trust me,
you're deep in summer, huh?
No, I don't. No. And it's also like, then you have the moment where you're like, do I want to listen to this? No. But like, or like, I think like I'm trying to do like driving the car, I'm like doing finger snaps on the snare hit just to do something to try to like, or like doing like on like for the snare, it's just to do something to get me out of the mindset of like, I would never listen to this music.
Yeah.
But it makes my kids happy. And they know every word.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to shut up.
I'm a little desensitized with music, having worked in advertising and having to listen to like the same 6 to 30 seconds of a song over and over and over and over all day. And so like I can listen to any music ad nauseum and just be like totally unfazed. But yeah, it's that Disney Channel aesthetic that does it to me.
It's so bad. It's so hard, and like it's it's just, and also like I'm sure they have the same music director who does like the exact same, because then I'm like, wait, this zombie song is basically that Descendants song. Like it's not like you guys just barely vary, like it's the exact same song. Then I'm like, well, now I don't like, then I'm being a real jerk. I'm like, it's the same key. This is lazy. And I'm like, Devon, shut up.
And then you'd have to take that same reasoning to John Williams sharing cues between Attack of the Clones and I think Chamber of Secrets.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's a shared score cue in there.
It's true.
I don't go public with my deepest, darkest thoughts about John Williams. I think he's
that'll all be edited out. That way you don't have I'll just post that as a clip, and that'll get all That's the engagement I'm desperate for on this episode.
No, that's the nicer side of it. He's one of the greats, but
yeah,
later period, you write some stuff on a napkin, you walk away, and your team makes it for you.
And you're done.
Yeah.
And you're done. Okay. Last thing for you. Moment for self-promotion. So if you want to follow like your band, follow your Instagram, follow your TikTok Wordle account, apparently. Where do we find you?
I very rarely ever post to that anymore. But you can look up Wordle tips if you want to. I don't have my phone on me. I was trying to make sure I had the right accounts. But it's I should check this. I should know.
Also link it and everything like on socials and all that.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm signed into Instagram, so I can fact check myself.
Yes.
It's plot.points on Instagram, and then on TikTok. Ooh, synergy. It's the same on both. It's plot.points on Instagram and Twitter. At plot.points. And new music is coming out June 16th because New Music Tuesday is the truth. I will never accept New Music Friday. It's always music.
No, that's right.
Tuesday in my heart.
Yep. That's right. Same here. And thanks for doing a call. Thanks for reconnecting a bit. And,
this was fun. I know we went long, so thanks for your time.
You're good. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for catching up. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you next time, Stephen.
The basketball game.
Yeah.
Ooh, Nick's down by 5 with 7.
Yeah, they're down by 5. They're down by 5. There's still time. They got Brunson. They can do this.
So stressful.
Go watch it, all right?
I had a box of peanut M&Ms that I just destroyed in my hand at the end of game 2. I was just eating sugar and squeezing cardboard.
my heart rate like triples. Like I'm normally, my resting heart rate's like 60 during games like that. I'm at like 140 the entire time.
Insane.
All right. Ridiculous. All right.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it, Stephen. You too. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never a Phase Network. Make sure to go to neveraphasenetwork.com to learn more about them.